o'clock. I'd like to call to order the Township Regular Board Meeting for July the 12th. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, and please be seated. Okay, Janelle, would you please take roll call?
DePalma,
I'm here.
Bat,
Yes, here.
Bills,
Here.
Christopher,
Here.
Mazzarelli.
Here.
Okay. Everybody have a copy of the agenda for tonight. The only addition I think we thought about adding here to this that we want to discuss the CBIZ, which is the acronym for the company that does the actuarials for the township's pension post-employment benefits. So I need to bring that up in a discussion item later when we get to the rest of the discussion on the municipality valuations. Okay, if there are no other changes by anyone, does anyone else want to make a change?
I have an addition to
Okay.
the agenda. I'd like to add discuss CBIZ.
That's what I did. I
Is
just
that
said-
what you
yeah,
did?
That's what I just did.
I was.
I'm gonna add it, I'm gonna add it on to the municipality valuation under item A for new business, so it's kind of tied to that. Okay, so if there are no other additions to that, I need a motion to approve the agenda with that modification.
I'll motion to approve the agenda with the modification.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Any other questions or comments from the board? Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, we're ready to get going. Next is approval of the minutes from the June 14th meeting, as everybody should have a copy of those. I didn't have any comments on. Does anybody else have any? If not, we need a motion to approve.
I'll motion to approve the minutes as submitted.
Okay, is there a second?
I'll second it.
Any other questions or comments from the board? If not, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, we'll move on to financials. And Patty, you want to do the budget amendments?
At this time, there are no budget amendments.
You like that?
We do have the accounts payable.
Okay, we can move right to that.
They are a total of $98,937.99 for 101. And for 206, it was $50,789.02. And I'd like to let it be known that the 101, which is the general account, it is that high amount due to equalization was paid at $37,366.22.
People don't know that's the county's bill for
Yes,
doing our
for
taxes.
doing our assessing and all. And then the road chloride also was due at $33,655. 206 was up due to accident fund premium, which was $43,718. Also in that township was the MTA dues for $4,630.05 for the year. So I motion accept
Accounts payable.
we approve the accounts payable
This-
for a
there-
total of $98,937.99 for 101, 249, and 701, and for fire, $50,789.02.
Okay, is there a second to that?
I'll second that.
Any questions or comments from the board? If not, would you take a roll call vote, please, Janelle?
DePalma,
Yes.
Bat,
Yes.
Bills,
Yes.
Christopher,
Yes.
Mazzarelli.
Yes.
Okay, and I neglected, I apologize. When we did the minutes, I should have also mentioned that we need to approve the fire board meeting minutes from June the 14th. So are there any questions or comments on those? No, if not, I need a motion to approve them.
I abstained from voting. I was not present.
Oh, okay.
I will make a motion to approve the fire board minutes.
Okay, is there a second?
I'll second that.
Okay, any other questions or comments from the board? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Okay, all caught up. Thank you.
Revenue and expense report, financial report.
Mhm.
I motion that we approve the financial report as submitted.
Is there a second to that?
I'll second it.
Okay, any questions or comments from the board? If not, please take a roll call vote on that one.
Bath,
Yes.
Bill,
Yes.
Christopher,
Yes.
Wizard,
Yes.
DePalma,
Yes. Okay, next item, the investment report, Teresa.
The investment report is shown with 3 months. There's really nothing out of the ordinary, so there's not really a whole lot to say, other than that,
Okay,
you know, interest is posted. and-
but again, these 3-month snapshots are nice. Okay. Well, that's FYI.
Yeah.
Moving on to presentations, we have nothing under presentations. We have nothing under public hearings. And under unfinished business, we have the open item from last month, which was to discuss for those of you who wonder, ROW stands for right away. That's a phrase the road commission uses for the sides of the road that they take care of. And I believe the question, I think, was it you, Teresa, or Gina, that asked me what happens if we don't pay the SISMA cause? And I called the person up at the road commission on it, and this is what she said. If you don't pay it, we probably do it anyway. If we run out of money early, the first ones that won't get done will be the ones that didn't pay it. So I think there's likely to be no difference whether or not we pay it. So with that, I think that was the only open question I had. So at this point in time, we just need to decide from last month's meeting, and we weren't all here, so it's better that all the board members are here. Do we want to pay the fee for the SISMA, which is the spraying for Phragmites? So I'll open it to comments, so everybody's here.
That's not something I can support
Okay,
because of the way that they do it, first of all, whether they do drop method, which is what they told me, but I did see that is not how it was done or not. I won't support putting glyphosate in our wells. It's just, I can't do that. But also with the passing of the Oakland County Parks millage, SISMA benefited by some of that money.
Mhm.
So I'm not really sure where that all plays into here either, because they're asking for the same amount that they did last time. Maybe that is the reason why it may still get done.
Actually,
No.
I think they did them anyway if people didn't pay, if they had the money. They were just asking
Okay.
everybody to help defray the cost.
My question is, what is our clear vision zone ordinance in Groveland Township? Is that 30 feet? Do you know?
You mean for?
To be able to turn out and see.
Right.
Well, I've never actually seen one. What generally happens is somebody calls up, like we had some people that complained because coming into the township office, it was
Mhm.
really hard to see that in drive.
Right.
So I had the road, when they started doing Grange Hall Road, go down, and I said, just bushwhack all that stuff back. I don't know that there's an actual number. If there is, I don't think I've seen it, but generally speaking, you're supposed to be able to get a good line of vision to the corner in the intersection. And people usually call when it's bad, and then we try and get it scheduled into the next time the brushing truck goes by, which is that the tractor that has like a brush hog on a big articulated arm, and it, can
And
go
that's
sideways down the
my
road.
argument for 2 years. They come down and do that. Why can't they do it where the Phragmites is? Especially if they are saying, well, we cut it back and we put a drop on each plant. You got to cut it anyhow. So come and cut it.
Yeah. Okay, any other comments on it?
Nothing different from how I felt last month.
Okay, well, we need to make a decision, and we either have to have a motion to support the SISMA group again this month or not support it.
I'll make a motion to not support this.
Okay,
I can't control what people do on their own property, but if I have a say so, again, it follows the water table. We've got clinical documentation since 1992 of the havoc it wreaks on the human body.
okay.
Enough said.
Motion by Mazzarelli. Is there a second to that?
I'll second it.
Okay, seconded by Christopher. Any other questions or comments from the board? If not, take a roll call vote, Janelle.
Wait,
Oh, I'm
we're
sorry.
voting, so
To
if
Not support it.
Not
we're
support.
voting to not
Yeah.
support it.
That was your understanding, right, Jim?
Yes, well, I just wondered
Okay.
if I said yes, does that mean I'm not supporting it? I'm supporting the not supporting.
You're supporting the message to not support this.
Got Okay, okay.
Okay,
Bills,
Okay, I knew I was first. Yes.
Christopher,
Yes.
Mazzarelli,
Yes.
DePalma,
yes,
Bath,
Yes.
okay, all right. Next item under new business. The first item I have on there is discuss municipality valuation. And what this is we get in June, roughly every year, MERS does an evaluation of the pension funding for the township by departments. And anytime there's a change in the objective rate of return or a change in the mortality and life expectancy tables, which they look at every 5 years, they reevaluate each municipality's funding to see if it changes the numbers. And if you recall, in 2009 and 10, when all the property taxes took a big hit, the pension funds all got hit pretty hard. And the way they do it is they take that shortfall and they spread it out over a number of years. And I think it's 10 years, if I remember correctly, so that the hit doesn't all show up in one year until it's finally covered. If you look at MERS from the beginning to now, it's made the current objective rate of return of 7.35% or better. But when they did the evaluation for this year, we were still over in every one of the segments, which is the trustee group, the staff at the office group, and the fire department group. Then they told us that effective next year's actuarial table is when the 5-year reevaluation for the mortality tables gets done. And what they do there is they take a look at things like how long do men live, how long do women live, and they do some analysis too for the type of business you're in. One of them that usually has a noticeable difference is fire and police. Okay, so they work all that back together and they come back and they say, based on however many people you have and however old they are and the statistics they came up with, here's what we see happening for next year. Well, when they came up with their pension this last year for us, the pension fund was underfunded in the fire department based on their actuarial by $161,959 against a base of about $1.3 million or $1.1 million. I'm sorry, that should be in this chart that we all have like this that you got. Okay. So I went back to Sue Feinberg, our contact at MERS, and I said, I hate to do something just to 100% because then if anything just at all next year, you got to do it again next year. So typically we would like to be, I think, at least 105% funded. So I said, give me some estimates of what it would take to move it from 100% funded to 105. And so if you look at the table down here on the bottom, this lower portion right here, you can see by month that the longer you wait, the greater the shortfall is to get to 105 by about $1,500 to $1,800 a month. So based on what month we would do it, if we decide we want to make it 105, so we don't have to hopefully look at it again next year, right now would be if you did it for the month of July, instead of 161,959, you'd have to put in 245,439. If you wait until August to do it, it'd be 246,894. So it's about $1,450, I think, more. And it goes like that all the way through December. So the question today is, I think everybody knows my philosophy. You either keep the pension fund funded or you end up being in big trouble in a short time. And it's easier to fix it now because the rate of return that they use in factoring these numbers in is predicated on them obtaining their 7.35 objective rate of return. The money that we put in the bank, as you all know, is lucky if it gets about 1.1, I think.
Uh,
Is that too high?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
0.75%, whatever it is.
half. or
Half a
less.
percent, okay. Yeah, because I know the 10-year bond's down to like 135 now. 3 months ago, everybody said, oh, we got an inverse yield curve, the world's coming to an end. And now it's the opposite way. So at any rate, I think it's just simple math. You cannot fix it, but your growing obligation is increasing at 7.35% a year. So if you have money in the bank, you're better off putting it in here and having it earning the 7.35 than you are leaving it in at 0.5%. And I personally don't think we should do it just to 100. It's just from year to year, there are variations. It's too easy to get out of shape on it. So Chief, I don't want to leave you out of this discussion because it's your, your cash reserve fund. Okay, I just don't want you to be left out if there's anything you want to say, but I personally think we should cut them a check for July for the 245, 439 and bring it back up to 105. But I'm open to discussion. Pardon?
Still be one of the few townships that are full of funds.
Pretty much, there's only 2 or 3 I know of. And this is why it's much easier to fix it today than it is in another year or two. But that's my suggestion. So with that, I'll open it to the board. Is there any questions anybody has?
I don't have any questions, but I want to make a comment. Bob and I have talked on occasion about other communities in Oakland County that are drastically underwater in these matters. And I never want to see our township get that way. So.
And there's plenty of them around us.
Yeah, I will support that should we go forward.
Okay, well, then I need a motion from somebody.
I just want to
I'm
confirm.
sorry.
Capital outlay reserve.
Pardon me?
That's what she's gonna ask.
Oh.
I was going to ask that.
Okay.
I also want to confirm that that leaves us funding at 12% monthly.
Yes, yeah,
That's what I wanted. to
which is what we do normally anyway.
Right. Okay.
Because if it wasn't, it would have been that earlier memo that said it had to go to 12.71 or something for the next
Right.
year. Yeah.
Because, yeah, I have that right here. So
Mhm.
I wanted to be
No.
sure. All right, great.
Okay, well, so
All right, so
Gina, did you make it?
I can make a motion.
Okay,
I make a motion that we fund to the level of 105% through the capital outlay reserve account in the amount of $245,439 in July of 2021
from the fire department.
from the fire department. I'm sorry. Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Fire department capital
You
outlay
want to get
reserve.
out of the township.
We got other things to
want it
cover, I want to tell you. Okay.
Janelle will confirm that number tomorrow to add to.
Gina made the motion. Is there a second to it?
I'll second it.
Okay, any questions or comments from the board? Okay, Janelle, would you take a roll call vote on that?
Christopher,
Yes.
Israeli,
Yes.
DePalma,
Yes.
Beck,
Yes.
Bill,
Yes.
Okay. The other item that we added at the beginning that I thought would fit in right here was what we call the CBIZ study. The auditors are finishing up the audit for the year. And CBIZ is the acronym for the company that actually does the same kind of calculation for post-employment benefits that MERS does for the pension. And post-employment would be for us, it's the retirement health stipend, okay? And so the auditor asked, well, what is this year's calculation? But the way the law is written on post-employment benefits, the analysis only has to be done every other year, and we had it done last year. And we're in, I think, really good shape on it. So they're going to use last year's numbers for this. But the question was, do we want to get it done this year, even though it normally wouldn't be due till next year? And part of the reason when Chief and I were talking about why the change in the pension fund, I think part of it's because he's added 2 more full-time people. And at least one of them is a female. They tend to live longer than the men. So I think that's kind of what went into part of that change in it, okay? So I'm suggesting that and Patty and I chatted about this, do we want to do it this year or not? It won't be in time for this year's audit because it takes a while to do it, but the regular CBIZ analysis is about $6,000, if I remember correctly.
Correct.
The interim update to it's only about $2,000.
Yes.
And so I think just to be on the safe side, so we don't have something that we're not aware of, we should spend the $2,000 to get the CBIZ analysis for the fire department too, since they added a couple people. I think they're still in good shape, but I would rather know than guess. It's like that commercial, you know? I think it's okay to do that. You see that one? What, rocket? Yeah, rocket board. I think if you see a dinosaur stand still or something, you know, and then the guy takes off, you know? So it's like that. Just to be safe, I think it would be $2,000 well spent to find out whether or not there is any issue with it, since we've added a couple people.
When do we normally do it? What?
Every other year.
No, I know,
Oh,
but what time? If it's supposed to
And I think we
align
do
with
it
the
in the,
budget.
I think we do it in the spring.
Yes,
Yeah.
So we would have done it last spring.
and we did for the two.
For last year, for 2 years.
Yeah.
And they'll use those
For the every other year.
update numbers for our audit this year.
Yes.
But if we spend the $2,000, we'll actually know what the updated numbers are. And I kind of think it's important to keep it square and make sure we know
And
what
if
it is.
everything looks good, we
Yeah.
can actually bump it. So we're in the
If we
two-year
have to,
cycle
but
again.
if it's still good and we don't have to do anything, it's okay.
Well,
we
that's what I'm
know.
saying, but then do we bump it to our, back on a 2-year cycle again instead of an interim?
You know, I don't know. You
Yeah,
probably could. I
well-
don't see why not.
I'm thinking, yes, so I'm thinking.
Because they never used to do these at all. This was a state-driven requirement. So I'm guessing if we did it this year, we wouldn't probably have to do it for
Right.
2 years.
We did 220.
And that would make it easier to say yes to it.
Mm-hmm.
Right, right.
So what would the board like to do?
I'll motion we do it for this year at $2,000. And Janelle, I will give you the numbers. I'm trying to think, I'm drawing a blank. The GL number of where it's to come from tomorrow. So that's my motion.
Okay, is there a second
I can support that, but I'd like to clarify if we can.
to
Correct.
do it every other year?
Yeah,
next
do
year?
it every other year after that.
Yeah,
Yes, oh, we can.
Oh,
You mean going forward, so like we did
Right.
it in 2020 last year?
If this is.
it would have been
20.
2022. So if we do it 2021, it
Yes.
wouldn't be till 2023.
Correct.
I will check on
Okay.
that.
Okay, I don't think there's a problem with that though.
So the motion is that
To-
we
Do it this year and then
do the
start 2
study
years after that.
through CBIZ this
Because we'll-
year.
We'll accommodate for the
And
new.
based
head.
on the outcome of the study, maybe we don't need to do it in 22.
Correct. So we do it again in 2023.
Correct.
Mhm.
Okay.
Okay, so were
I-
you making the
I'll
2nd?
I'll second that.
All right. Are there any other questions or comments from the board?
Okay.
If not,
Janelle,
Janelle,
got
would you
that,
take a
Janelle?
roll call on that?
Musarelli,
Yes.
De Palma,
Yes.
Pat,
Yes,
Bills,
Yes.
Christopher.
Yes.
Okay, and can you take care of ordering that? Because you got all. the stuff
I
from CBIZ, right?
will, yes, I will talk with CBIZ by the end of this week and we'll report at the next board meeting
Okay,
in August of when it will be due again.
okay. This next item is discuss the Dixie Byway Car Show. If you remember, we did one 2 years ago. It was pretty popular. We had a couple hundred cars. I've had residents come in, hey, well, we're going to do it again, you know, this COVID year. And of course, nobody did anything. George Cullis and Holly, who did it with me, because it was Holly and Groveland together to promote the Dixie Byway, came back and said, we got to do it again this year. So we met with the park manager over at Mount Holly's parking lot about a week and a half ago. And he said, you can use it, but you got to do it on October the 9th this year. Now, I'll be honest with you, I get a little nervous because we had October 5th last time and it happened to be a good day. But that's the only day that the county park said there'll be some room in the parking lot for you, that we don't have something else that we think will conflict with it. So we're going to try and get it going. I called the car club, the Flaming Pistons in Brandon that one of our gals answered the phone and said, there's somebody here from the Flaming Christians that wants to talk to you, but it was actually the Flaming Pistons. So, I figured out who she meant anyway. And
Burning Christmas a long time ago.
yeah, exactly. So I'm gonna go to one of their meetings again and ask for some input from them, because one of the things that didn't go well last year was we were supposed to have 3 food trucks there. And the one little hot dog guy is the only one that showed up. George swears to me he's got food trucks lined up. He's got the DJ lined up. I'm gonna talk to the same car club because I think they were responsible for most of the 200 cars we had there. And the only thing I'm asking the board to approve is, again, like last year, we rented the Oakland County portable stage that we used at the front. I think that was about $500 or $550, something like that. So I'd like a motion from the board to approve using that, renting that stage again from Oakland County for the car show. And it should be October the 9th. And after I've had a chance to talk to the car club and button down the other details with George, I'll cut another video and we'll start running it so people get plenty of time to know what's coming up.
I'd just like to add, I'd never been to a car show like that before, and it was very well attended. Very well attended.
We have a lot of people there. I was surprised.
I was too. I'm like,
I was nervous when I showed up in the morning. I thought there's going to be 168 Chevelle in the whole parking lot. And nothing else, but they all came through for us.
There was
Did
only
you
one
mention-
68 Chevelle.
Yeah, there was a 69 though.
did
Yeah.
you mention about maybe meeting at board?
Oh, yeah, one of the things we want to do that we've talked about originally is we're thinking of seeing if we can get Bordines or the Dodge dealer down, or the Jeep dealer down there, to let us use their parking lot and try and get everybody to get there with their car about half an hour early, and then cruise from there up to Mount Holly to kind of start the show off. So we got some things, and I'll cover all of that when we get it buttoned down, but that's kind of the gist of the discussion so far. So I would like someone to make a motion to say that we provide the stage through Oakland County again.
Is that your motion?
Yes. Is there a second to it?
I'll second it, provided the music is in this century.
They got a DJ that does a lot of their car shows in.
There was
Don't
a
you want the
DJ.
1980s and 70s and
It's
60s?
still in this century.
I
No,
don't want
this
the
century from-
60s.
You don't want the six,
No, or the 50s.
you don't want it to just be from 2000 and on up.
How about from 1975 up?
77, that was.
I'm happy to
Seven, no,
support.
70.
That won't even cover half the age of the cars. Okay, there's a motion and a second. Excuse me, any other questions or comments? And if not, could I have a roll call vote on that, please?
DePalma,
Yes?
Bax,
Yes.
Bills,
Yes.
Christopher,
Yes.
Lizarelli,
Yes.
Okay, and I'll get back to George, and then I'll fill you in with the rest as we flesh out the rest of the details. The next item, I just wanted to make you aware of a meeting that we had. Chief and I and Chief Feichner from Springfield and the supervisor there, Laura, had a meeting together to talk about some fire department issues. But she also wanted to talk to me about the master plan. If you know, when we approved our master plan, which is, I think it's coming up to the end of the daytime, the announcement statute on it, we moved directly into the overlay district, which is something we said we wanted to do to make sure that when we got all done, that the Dixie Byway did not look like Waterford, but had a better, more upscale appearance to it, more like the kind of construction you see on Holly Power Sports, where they took that old dilapidated block building and put stone and landscaping on it and a copper roof, and it just came out beautiful. Well, Springfield had done an extensive amount of work on their master plan for their overlay district. So when we were talking to our planner at the planning commission meeting, we said, I don't like what we got here the first go around. We want something more like Springfield's. But Laura said, we don't want you to copy ours exactly. We want that to be Springfield's look. So I did make a commitment to go back to Michelle, our planner, and say, look, we don't want to have the same kind of $85,000 welcome sign that they had. We don't need that. We don't necessarily want to follow the prairie design, but I do want to maintain those principles that I think all the planners we're in line with, which was, stone, open timber, glass, and a lot of those other features. So I've asked her to look at that language and peel out some of what doesn't necessarily have to be. But I don't think the planning commission is going to be receptive to kind of dumping the whole idea on getting rid of it, because it had the same values. Wouldn't you agree, Jim?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I just want to make everybody aware that we're doing some adjustment based on whatever Michelle comes back with, and then the planning commission, you guys can let her know if she's on the right track or not. Okay.
And that's the only tweak that you've gotten in feedback so far?
Oh, yeah. And most of the time that goes out to everybody and they just do dominoes.
Yeah.
And George and Holly has already said, when you get your overlay district done, just give it to me. I'm gonna copy it verbatim and put it in my master plan.
Well, and also, if I recall, being part of that brainstorming sessions and all that Ben Talarico did in the beginning, the residents also put some input into what they wanted
Mhm.
the Dixie Byway to look like, and all those things are already kind of listed in that master plan as well.
Yep.
So if we have those in our plan and Springfield had them in their plan, and it just happens to turn out similar, I mean, we can't leave some things out that
I agree.
our residents already said, this is what we want as well.
I agree.
So
I just wanted
I'm on the
everybody to
same
know there
page
was a
with you.
discussion there, because I think we're all at the same
Yeah.
mindset. And I think Jim, wouldn't you agree the whole planning commission's feeling was that way?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Okay. So that was just an FYI for everybody, okay?
Okay.
Moving on to resolutions. The first item is to discuss the Consumers Energy Lighting Grant. If you know, we got a grant to, and the chief did most of this, put 10 million.
Thank you.
You're getting to be the light bulb expert after the MSP post, right? Put 10 million of these daylight bright white LED fixtures in here, of which a good portion of it is covered by Consumers grant that we acquired. But they sent us a notice recently that said this resolution you have in your package has to be done by the board before they'll process the credit for us. So that's what's in front of you here. So with that, I need a motion from somebody to approve the resolution for Consumers.
I'll make a motion that we approve the resolution for Consumers Energy to become reimbursed for our investment in the upgraded lighting and making the supervisor authorized to execute this.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Okay, by Gina. Any questions or comments from the board? If not, all in favor, say aye.
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 All opposed? Okay. Good.
Yes.
Wasn't there an expense to that, or you're just doing the resolution?
We already agreed to do that and buy them, so and we thought we approved the grant. They came back and said, till you do the board resolution, you can't get the check.
For the reimbursement.
Yeah. Okay, you don't have to apologize. You put 10 million light bulbs. Okay, next item on the resolutions. We had a request from a resident, and he's here tonight. I see him. Let me kind of explain where we are, and then I'm going to ask you to comment on it, okay? This item has been kind of going back and forth from him to me and to the two county commissioners, and I believe several other supervisors in the last several months. It's essentially asking to allow off-road vehicles, and I think golf carts too, right? To be able to drive on the sides of roads that are not part of what is considered the urban area. And then there was a map in his package which showed that the urban areas, like the village of Holly is an urban area. And for us, basically the Dixie Byway corridor where the ORV park is an urban area. But I think I copied everybody as the discussions were going back and forth between you and I, so the board knew what was going on. At the last supervisors meeting, this item did come up by another one of the supervisors, and a number of them, I'm just being honest with you, a number of them said, we don't want anything to do with this. In fact, there was a suggestion maybe they should do a board-wide request by all of the supervisors to say they didn't want it, but that didn't happen, because if you saw in the last emails that came around, several supervisors already said, we don't want to be part of this. They exclude us from it and send it to their county commissioners. So with that, I guess I don't want to not give you the opportunity to say why we're doing this or what your interests are, but Before I go back to the board, I'll let you speak on it, okay?
Okay, sure. Well, Michigan.
I'm sorry, it's David Lucas. I should have introduced you. I'm sorry.
Michigan statute provides the counties to allow the board, the counties to pass ordinance by resolution to allow RVs to operate in their counties. Most counties, a lot of counties in Michigan have taken advantage of that statute and they've passed their ordinances and they allow ORVs to operate on the back roads in their counties. Genesee happens to be one of them. Recently, 5 years ago, maybe, they had passed their countywide ordinance to allow ORVs to operate on their back roads. There, of course, they have restrictions, you know, not the busy roads, just the rural back roads. Also, now recently, Lapeer County had just passed their countywide ordinance to allow RVs to ride on their back roads. Oakland County hasn't done that because it's mostly an urban county. However, northern Oakland County is not urban, it's rural. And the statutes provide that counties don't have to go countywide. They can limit it to certain roads, townships. So I'm proposing that I would like our county commissioner, Bob Hoffman, to sponsor a resolution that you've probably seen that would allow ORV operation in specific townships. Maybe all of his districts, which would include Rose, Holly, and Groveland. Maybe just Groveland. I'm most interested in just Groveland. I think that a lot of the township residents, by far, they would love to be able to take a leisurely ride on their back roads, on their ORVs, going slow. Not everyone can go to the ORV park. ORV park is great, but for a lot of the residents, it's dangerous and intimidating. They're not interested in climbing cliffs and doing high performance ORV. They would just prefer to enjoy their neighborhood, visit their neighbors, drive slowly on the back roads to just experience the outdoors. And I'm thinking that it's pretty harmless. I don't know any really good valid reason why we would not allow it. I know that there were towns, Oxford and Brandon, especially Oxford, had a big issue with it. Basically, it was kind of some irrational feedback, but it was feedback. And I'm thinking the only reason they were so against it is maybe it was, they were obscured by a recent unrelated tractor accident involving a Kubota tractor, farm tractors, not even an ORV. So I'm guessing there, unless maybe you had put up to it somehow, but he was, the supervisor was very much against it.
At the supervisors meeting, it was Addison, I believe it was Addison, Oxford, Brandon, and Rose Township that all said, we don't want anything to do with it.
Yeah,
And they didn't reference any
Yeah, I
track
only
tracks,
got
because you could
feedback.
take tractors on the road. I've gone to the gas station with mine in the past. You know, with a slow moving sign on the back. So there was no reference to it. They just didn't think it was a good idea.
Okay, and I only got feedback from 2 of them, so there's a couple more that don't want in on it.
Mhm.
But I would propose to our county commissioner just to take the resolution to the county, just to allow growth. We don't need any of the other townships involved. And of course, it would include restrictions on all the main roads. And we're just talking the back roads.
Let me tell you what I think part of the issue probably is. If they do it on a countywide basis like Lapeer did, then they can decide in an individual municipality what roads they want and they identify them. Because I did check after you told me that, and Lapeer does have it on some of their back roads where there's less population. In order for us to allow ORVs here without that county status first, The only way I know we can do it is through an ordinance that we use to take that little tiny road of Shields that's 1/10 of a mile long from Dixie Highway
Yeah,
that
I'm
runs by the
familiar with
side. Okay, and in that one there, Patty had to send a notice to every city,
Yeah.
village and township and ask them for, I think it was 90 days for comments on it.
Yes.
And then when we actually get ready to use it, I've got some signage requirements I have to put on it.
Now,
So-
I'm familiar with that, and I'm not for that. That's very difficult, cumbersome. But I have a resolution I drafted that avoids all of that complicated. It would only, you can focus at the county can pass a resolution and an ordinance specifically for Groveland. And outside of the urban areas, and not including the busy ones, include railroad restrictions.
This is another issue, though. If you look at your urban map, the Dixie Byway and the ORV Park's actually part of the urban area, so they wouldn't be allowed there. I gotta be honest, I have a hard time thinking somebody that has an off-road vehicle here in Groveland Township would drive it down the side roads, and then if he wanted to go to the ORV Park, say, I'm going to go get my trailer, load it up, drive across Dixie Highway and unload it in the parking lot over there, because it would be virtually against the law to drive across Dixie. I've had a couple of businesses out here that were thinking about doing the storage services, for them. And they were saying, one of them was saying, yeah, we'll just go across Dixie and then we'll cut in front of that old building that was a party store that Inoshi bought and go down Big Sky Drive. And I said, wait a minute. First of all, you can't cross Dixie. And you'd be taking your life in your
Well, my
hands.
big point-
Secondly, you can't go across the Noshi's property. And third, you can't go up Big Sky unless you have the permission of everybody that lives in the park.
Yeah, my point is the residents that want to go up for their leisurely ride, they're not going to want to be going to the ORV park.
See,
That's sort of conjecture-ish. I don't think that's going to play out that way. I'm sure that all the visitors of the ORV park, they know the rules. They're not going to be going.
Actually, some of them know them and don't obey them. I'm just telling you, that's been an issue here that we've had to
Well,
work
it's
on.
not the rule, it's not the norm. It's spotted.
Well-
Right. I mean,
Period.
Go ahead.
Well, I was just noticing here that on the resolution, it says item number 8 in parentheses, a person shall not operate a golf cart on a highway unless to cross it.
Mhm.
That's in the
Yeah.
one
Right.
here, right? But what is that even allowed? Are you allowed to cross Dixie Highway in a golf cart? I mean,
in an ORV, you can cross.
So- this
Not
one
Dixie.
is for
Not
the
Dixie.
operation of golf carts on the streets. So, I mean, we have a golf cart and we ride it around the backyard and this and that. And I don't even think I can get that baby going fast enough to feel like I could cross Dixie Highway. And
We don't even take horses on the back roads anymore because
It's-
people drive like idiots.
my big
They don't
fear
pay
with the
attention.
whole thing is that, it says here in number 15, a golf cart shall not operate at a speed greater than 15 miles per hour. And the speed limit, I'm looking
It's in
at
the first page,
the one that,
Apples and oranges.
I'm-
That's the golf cart resolution.
oh,
The Tom and I are talking about this ORV resolution. Have you seen this?
yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. But the whole idea would be the countywide resolution, we would need that in order to enact this.
Oh, yeah,
Right.
exactly. Now, I would love to have our county commissioner, Bob Hoffman,
Mhm.
take the resolution to the county. But he's not likely going to do it unless he has approval from the township. I would love it if, many of us would love it if our township would sanction this resolution. So Bob Hoffman has support to go to the county. Hey, and it'll be a specific resolution to the county saying Groveland Township wants to take advantage of the statutes. Here's the resolution, please let it pass.
who's gonna enforce that these golf carts are roadworthy?
Mm-hmm.
Number one, and again, we get complaints all the time of people speeding on the back roads, and we can't get the speed limit changed. And the proposal is that when we see a golf cart, we're gonna slow down.
No. We're mixing up
Well,
two proposals. Right now,
Well,
in
even-
today's resolution, we're talking this, not the golf cart.
but it is, it's right here, and it says, where'd it go, 25 miles an hour.
Right,
Okay, but the speed limit on the back road is not 25 miles an hour. And there's a lot of people on Oak Hill who would really like Oak Hill to be 25 miles an hour, but that, we have not been able to even make that happen. So
ORVs are
how-
not allowed to go faster than 25 miles an hour on the back roads. That's the beauty of this resolution. It keeps the ORVs at slow.
So how do they compete with the vehicles that are doing twice that speed? How is that safe?
They're on the right-hand side of the road.
So are some of the vehicles.
All the vehicles should be on the
Right,
right. side.
well, thank
No,
you, yeah.
no,
I think the
the
question
ORVs
is
are-
enforcement.
ORVs are meant to drive on the
Right, but
right-hand side.
who's
of the road.
going to enforce this? We have state police out here and they are not cruising the back roads all the
What
time.
kind of enforcement is needed? I'm not sure I understand.
I honestly think there would be significant numbers of people on ORVs that would not pay attention to that.
To the
It would be
25
speeding down the
miles.
roads. One of the problems we've had in the ORV park was when they first opened it, the management there didn't do a good job of telling everybody, you must have a factory stock exhaust to ride here, because if you don't pass the noise DB test, you cannot get in the park. And so for several weeks, they let anybody in, and then we got a ton of complaints from the residents on Thread Valley that some of them could hear the ORVs all the time. And so now they've kind of clamped down on it, and they got the DB gauges and they started doing stuff. I'm just telling you that I think a lot of people will not protect it. And you can take an ORV. My son's got one that'll do at least 80 something miles an hour. I'm just, they're just not like they were when my kids were
But
small.
anybody can speed in a vehicle, they can speed.
And that's the point she's making. We have hard time sometimes getting people to come out for
And
car
they're-
vehicles
and
that
they're-
are
and they're
speeding.
protected somewhat in a vehicle, in a car. You're not in a golf cart
Or no RV.
or an ORV, right?
I'm on Wolf Road, and let me tell you, they go from 15 to Grange Hall and the other way. Nobody's managing the speed limit there. I would hate to see a golf cart, even going at 25 miles an hour
Even just
with
picking
the
up the
curves.
Oh, it's curves.
and picking
And-
up gravel.
Yeah.
Yeah. The cars kick up gravel. I mean, try walking your dog, even on a paved park, you know, on Groveland, walking the dog, gravel gets kicked up at us there too. I just don't see it as safe. I mean, I really,
Well, there's no increase in accidents with ORVs in all the other townships and counties. It's
And
like there's no increase. It's not, it's safe. All the manufacturers, they make these vehicles safe. It's safer than
The-
lining up first.
the reason in part, I think, is because it's substantially less population in those areas, even though they're considered rural, and we have parts of us that are, I think there's substantially less population there. I have a cottage up north. You can ride the snowmobiles and the ATCs on the side of the road, like you said, but there's just a whole lot less people up there. And up there, they do it because in the winter, sometimes if you can't take your snowmobile to town, you can't get to the supermarket for food. So it's fairly common up there, but there's just a lot less people that live, a lot less than even in Groveland Township. And so I think that's why they don't have the same number of accidents. Listen, I have a quad, I have a couple of three-wheelers. My son's got 6 or 7 of them, I think. I haven't counted them lately. I'm just telling you, it's not like I'm against that stuff. I just don't think it has a good place on the road here. And I'm absolutely convinced if we allowed it, there will be accidents. There's just, the people that use them are not all going to just sit there and say, I'm just taking a leisurely ride down the side of the road on my ATC. It's just, I don't believe that would happen, and I personally don't believe any of them that wanted to go to the ORV park would not just say, I'm shooting across Dixie and gonna go into the ORV park and drive down the side of Dixie. And I have had people, when the Renaissance Festival was at its worst, we had people that would come here from out of state, park on the side of Dixie, put their kid in a baby stroller, and then just wait for a little opening in the road, push the stroller out on the road to try and get across. And I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. You're gonna get your kid killed, right? People, when they want to go do something like that, I think they tend to be very careless sometimes in what they do. I just can't see this working here. There might be a couple of streets it could work on, but I just don't see it being able to work generally in the township. And I know from horses being on the road and the problems we used to have when we rode with the friends with the horses, it's not
I
good.
haven't seen a horse in 3 years.
That's why, because nobody feels they can ride on the road
Yeah,
anymore.
Stop doing it because it's not safe.
When my wife rode with her girlfriends down the road on the horses,
Okay.
after they shot stones, what they learned was if you get 6 ladies on 6 horses that weigh 900 or 1,000 pounds apiece, and when a car comes, you fan out and block the whole road, they will stop for
That's what I
you.
say, times have changed. There are no horses on the road. And therefore, they're not gonna be bothered by ORV.
It's not that the horse will be bothered. What I'm saying is the people tend to do stuff to those. I think they would deliberately try and spook the horse. I think they will try and spray somebody on an ORV if they don't. I hear what you're saying. I just don't believe it would work here in Groveland Township. I'm
Just like
sorry.
you would like to be able to ride the ORV, I'd like to be able to ride the horse, but I won't because it is not safe.
When in response to the horse, there are people that ride their horses.
Yeah.
I haven't seen one in quite a while, but my point is, it's very, very far and few between. I mean,
Well,
Not-
my girls are in Brandon and several years ago, yes.
Well, the ones down here on Barron Road do it all the time.
We've rode
Mhm.
on the road to go to horse club and other things like that, rather than trailering.
I'm sorry, you wanted to make a
I
comment?
just wanted to
Can you
mention,
identify yourself for the?
my name is Ryan Snyder. I live on Oak Hill Place in Oak Hill, right there. That's the intersection of that. I've been living here for almost a year, moved here last August.
Mhm.
So, I grew up down in Wayne County and we had golf carts. We didn't have, ATVs or ORVs, but I will say that there are some certain types of ORVs, in my view, the ones that have protection over the top and when people wear helmets. I view those as much safer for both people driving it and for the other people that are, passing.
Because some of those people can actually go through the trouble of getting them licensed. If they put the right lights on them and
Golf
stuff,
carts, not-
they can get them
I've
licensed
been in
as a
golf cart
car.
accidents myself. They're not nearly as safe as an ORV. So,
The problem is ORVs includes quads, 3-wheelers, all of that stuff, What you're talking about is a side by side that's got a
but the
roll
ones
cage
that
in
have the
it.
cages over it, I mean, those seem reasonably safer.
Well, if they have one, if you've got a caged side by side, I think there's still a process where it's expensive. But you can go to the state of Michigan and say, I put a horn on it, I put turn signals on it, got headlights and taillights. I want it licensed for road use, and they will license it. Some people up north do it. Now, one of the things that again, I don't know, because I haven't got one set up that way. But I think the insurance companies decided they didn't really like insuring them anyway. So they said, okay, you can make it legal to drive on the road, but wait till I give you the insurance bill on it. But you can make those quasi car certified, but that's one kind of machine. And again, I think they have to go through a whole inspection thing with the police usually.
I do see a lot of those driving around me. I'm not gonna.
They're very popular now. That's why they're about 20 grand.
So those are allowed, you're saying?
No. No, I'm saying some people can take a side by side, which is what you're talking about with the cage.
Yeah.
And go through the process of taking it to a police department and say, I put a headlight on it, I put tail lights on it, brake lights, headlights, turn signals, and rear view mirror, and now I should be able to be certified for road use. They do it, and there were a lot of people that did it. I know a guy that bought one and he did it the first year he got it. And then he sold it. And then about a year later, the insurance companies kind of caught on and said, all right, we don't think these are really meant for road use. You can get it licensed for road use, but my insurance premium will probably be 8 times what you paid for a car. So they can get them licensed, but they've got to get them certified by a police department first. And that's the only ones. It doesn't include quads and three-wheelers and dirt bikes or any of the other ORV stuff. Okay.
Well, I've got a comment.
Mhm.
Is it Dave or David?
David,
David, I want to tell you, there's a big part of me that likes the idea of being able to go from my house, say to Bob or Kevin's, and take a vehicle like that rather than pulling out a car. What I'm concerned about is the closure rates on our roads compared to 25 miles an hour. I
what does that
think,
mean? Closure rate.
so if you're going 25 miles an hour and I am your stereotypic pickup truck driver going 65 down dirt road because I can, that disparity in speed, I think you're a target.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Unfortunately, that's not the case because the other township counties in the state of Michigan, they don't have the closure rates. There's not an increase in accidents.
I'm gonna take you at your word on that. It just, I can't support it because I'm, in theory, maybe not in theory, we're entrusted to protect the public good, and I'm grossly concerned that there will be bad accidents because of that differential in speed and the mass of the vehicles. I like the idea a ton, but I am very concerned for public safety in that regard.
I respect your concerns. I just
No, it's good to know.
politely disagree.
That's, no, I
I'll
get
be
it.
why we're here.
I get it.
Right. And people will still go out and do that. But we also don't have the wherewithal, or we don't have the means to police that and make it
Why do we need
safer.
to police our?
Well, I'm not saying, I don't want patrols up and down our dirt roads, trust me. But again, if somebody is continually violating, where's the recourse on this? If I do get a call from someone that says, okay, somebody's flying down McGinnis on their golf cart, and and I have to go 25 miles an hour because they do this every day at 3 o'clock when I'm trying to get home. Where's my, that's not, it's obstructive, and again, not safe.
How does this affect the, I'm sorry,
Go ahead.
snowmobiles? Is this inclusive of snowmobiles as well?
Snowmobiles are not considered RVs.
Okay.
By statute.
Thanks.
So I just, having come to board meetings for the last several years, I've heard numerous residents make some very serious impassioned pleas to please slow the speed limits down on the roads, and they make very, it's common to hear people are going way too fast. People are just speeding down the roads. People are out of control on our roads, and they want us to do something about that, to slow people down. Well, there's only so much,
You can't do anything.
we
It's a
can't
state law, yeah.
control all of that kind of thing. But my point is this: I know there are people that are speeding down these roads. I mean, I'm on McGinnis, and it is not uncommon. We can predict. Yep, wait for it. And, I personally think that Jim's point about if something's coming up really fast, they're on that. They're right up onto another vehicle smaller than them before they even see the vehicle. And that scares me. It really does. Because I think the smaller vehicle is going to take the brunt of the accident, and those people are not going to be as well protected. I can't say yes to something that I think is a potential accident waiting to happen. And then it might not happen this year. It might not happen next year, but the year after, maybe somebody is in an accident with a golf cart or an ORV, and there's an ordinance here that says, well, we allowed it to happen in our township. And I don't feel comfortable supporting that. I just don't at this point. Maybe if we had more data, maybe if we had some examples of places that are just like us, but I'm hearing Rose, Holly, Oxford, Addison, all of our neighbors, Brandon, and they have similar type areas that we have. None of them want to do this. So we're basically gonna go out on a limb and be the only people who are willing to take this risk. I don't feel comfortable with that. That's just,
I respect your position. I just don't believe it's gonna be a risk and it's gonna cause accidents. And we've got plenty of evidence from the other counties, but I respect that.
My
Doesn't look
con-
like you're in favor of it, and that's just too bad for me. And some residents that want to get out and enjoy the back roads on their RVs.
I have concerns. A lot of times our back roads get washboarded. They aren't in, I don't want to say real good shape, but they go through times where, they're rough. You could have a 16-year-old in that golf cart that goes like heck, not following kids are kids. That could be a potential accident right there.
Yeah.
My concern.
I understand that we bring up our kids quite a bit because we're concerned about their safety. It's very common, no matter where you go, that's the first thing that you bring up is the kids. I understand where you're coming from.
Okay, there any, I don't want to cut anybody off. Anybody on the board have any other questions or comments? Thank you for bringing it up, Dave.
Oh, thanks for entertaining me.
Okay, all right. Okay, no motion is made, so we'll move on to miscellaneous reports. First is the Holly Area Youth. Patty, do you wanna-
Okay, Holly Area Youth Assistance. Karen Willis is retiring. She was their secretary. And they have, in July, this month, they will appoint a new one. Apps, interviews, and background checks have already been done, so we're just waiting for that. However, there's no board meeting in July. They get that month off. Also, I wanted to bring up Wednesday night car shows in Holly, 5:30 to 8:30. The Holly Area Youth mans the popcorn stand, so visit them if you're over there. And the proceeds go to Holly Area Youth Assistance. And that's all I have for that right now.
Okay, thank you. Did you have anything for?
oh,
Brandon,
BGYA,
right, I'm
yes.
sorry, I apologize.
So Brandon Groveland Youth Assistance. Basically, they have a meeting tomorrow at 11 a.m. at the Old Town Hall. And they do post any news on their Facebook site. So there's nothing new posted from last month, but they do frequently post things. And volunteers, as always, are welcome.
Okay. That's it?
That's it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Planning Commission, Jim?
Nothing new to report on the planning commission that I recollect.
Didn't you want to talk about the
What's
the
that?
website?
Oh, yeah, that I did.
Okay, you
That's
can,
where it's going
okay,
next.
I'm sorry. Okay, I didn't mean to cut you off. I thought you wanted to get it
It's all
out.
good. I do want to talk for a few minutes about the website to everybody here and listening on tape. You may or may not know, we are undertaking a revision to our township website. It is up in its new form. It is far from complete. So I want everyone to know it is a work in progress. I'm going to say role in this is to kind of champion it. I'm very interested to see our website really be ultra informative to the community, offer everything from ordinances to meeting agendas as soon as possible, links to the fire department. And I want everyone to know I have an email address, which is trustee1@grovelandtownship.net. And if you have any comments, any constructive criticism, let it fly, or call me or leave a message here at the township and I'll call you back. Leanne Robinson, a member of our community, has offered a couple of suggestions, which I'm in the process of reviewing to see if we can incorporate them, if they make sense, and if they can be done. So I urge everyone in the community, take a look, offer suggestions, yays, nays, and so forth.
Are you putting your email on the website?
It's probably already.
Yeah.
there.
Is on the
All of our emails have been on it.
Yeah,
Okay, good.
Yep.
yeah.
Some townships don't, they don't do that.
Oh,
No, ours has been on, I think, from day one.
Yeah,
and-
quite a
Well, I know you did.
Yeah, practically every phone, if you can't get me, I'm in the middle of the lake up north.
I have, David, I have high expectations that this is going to be a very nice website.
Jim, on comment on that, I just have one thing that I went to the website and I was like, okay. There's a big circle with links on it and it says township board meeting. So I clicked in there because I was looking for some past minutes and it took me right to Zoom. So I just like everybody to know, if you go to that, go to reference. You want to go up to the top where it says reference, and in the drop down box are the agendas, the board meeting packets.
Resources.
Resources, maybe.
Okay, it might be resources.
I had a hard time finding the agenda for tonight.
Okay.
Was it resource? I thought it was
Might have been-
reference,
Might
but
have been, well.
it was a
starts
week
with an
ago.
R.
It's Janelle.
I just wanted to say that there are a lot of the things when they moved it to the new web page. We have found that it makes it a little bit cumbersome
A little-
and awkward to
a little
find
more difficult
some
to
things. So I know that Vinny has been working on some of
Yes.
that and updating and moving things. So I think that that will be a continuous process
Right.
probably for quite a few
Yeah.
weeks.
So it can be more
So it's a nice
user-friendly.
website.
Yeah.
It's gonna
So
take a little bit of time.
I think board meeting is important for the public, so it's either reference or resource.
Yeah.
It's at the top across.
One of those tabs.
Yes, one of those.
Unless you
yeah.
want to watch the whole meeting on Zoom.
Yeah, unless you want to, well, I think it took you to log in to the Zoom.
Yeah.
I did.
It would.
Yeah.
right to the-
So it isn't gonna take you to the board
To
meeting.
pass meetings.
Yes, you
Oh.
have to go to that
Okay.
reference or.
Okay.
I checked on that at about 5:00.
Yeah.
And it took, it looked like I was joining a Zoom meeting.
I was kind of like, wait a minute, where do I need to go here? So I took some time and, yeah, looked
Yeah,
at it.
I went around.
Otherwise, you know, like
It is a
there are a
nice-
few-
nice looking website.
kinks to work out and we'll do it. It'll get done. Yeah.
Okay. That it, Jim?
That is it.
Okay. Next, on BZA, Gina, was there anything?
We have a meeting tomorrow night.
Okay. And under supervisor, I think I mentioned the car show. I'll bring more information after George and I flesh out the rest of the details, but you got the gist of the most important parts. We had planned since last year to get the last piece of pavement in Groveland redone, which was Grange Hall Road from Tripp Road intersection all the way around to the viaduct, and then it actually goes on into Holly. And I kept on telling him, that's great that you got it in, but tell me when so I can let everybody know. So just before I went up north this last weekend, they put all the markers out and ground up the road. And then when I came back Sunday, it was all done. So that's the last piece of pavement in the entire township that we needed to get redone. We have had everything resurfaced now. And once they get done with the Barron Road project, there are no more pavement projects scheduled in the foreseeable future right now, just so you know. That's going pretty good. They were supposed to start on the turn lane at the intersection of Grange Hall and Barron today, but the rain kind of messed it up a little bit. So it's probably a couple of days till they start working on that. But actually the project's going pretty good and I'm cautiously optimistic it might be done a little bit earlier than the middle of November. The only other thing I wanted to mention is there's an issue, you might have heard me talking about it in the office if you've been around, but we've taken care of the problem. Chief and I over at in the fire department was a big help on it, over at the MSP post upstairs. Again, his expertise at changing light bulbs now is phenomenal. I think, how many was it, 113? 133 bulbs were not working upstairs. You need to understand that for years, the
Some of them were working, we just changed them all. We
Yeah.
took out the fluorescent ones. And
put this stuff in, yeah. But part of the problem has been, for years, the MSP used to lock the door to the detachment. So the only time chief or I ever go up there is if a piece of mail comes to his fire station or comes to the township, and I go, this is really for the MSP. I run up the stairs and hand it to whoever's in the bullpen there. But the lighting needed work, and so did the plumbing, but it's just about all fixed. The fire department did a great job cleaning it up, and I have Penny, who does our cleaning here, is going to go there and give the place a good once over, and then she's going to do it monthly for them. And they're going to clean the johns in there because they have such a high number of troopers that come and go into the building. Nobody seems to really take care of it. So from now until we get to the new building, we're going to make sure it stays up to snuff. And I've had several meetings there over the last 2 weeks with the management, and I think we're in good shape now, thanks to the help of the chief and the firefighters there, and in particular, I think Burdez, right? He did a lot of it. We got it whipped into pretty good shape now. So the first time we took a cleaning lady up there, she said, I can't do this. I don't have a crew big enough.
It was scary.
We got that squared away. If you heard anything on it, it's all set now. Patty, did you have anything for the clerk's office?
Yes, I do. I was unable to attend last month's meeting, and I just would like to bring the board up to date on the HART, which are our election tabulators and auto writers. The equipment maintenance has been, it was free, so it's run out. And I did send the information out to them for bid. They have not sent it back yet. I haven't received it. However, I just wanted to put some figures out there quickly, estimating or doing some figuring. There were two options. One is an advance payment discount, which means we pay it in full. For our Verity scans, which we have 6 of them, the total would be $11,448. For no, it would last for, I think it was 10 years.
No,
No, what was it?
years 6 through 10.
6 through 10.
Yeah.
Yes, 6
4
through
years.
10.
5 years.
5 years.
Yep, years 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So
Okay, thank you, Teresa. And then the auto or the Verity touch writers, the total for those paying up front will be $5,730 for a total of $16,578, which would be a savings of $1,842 paying them
Upfront.
flat rate upfront. For the contracted rate for the auto writers or for the Verity scans, it would be $12,720, and for the Verity touch writers would be $5,700. So we'll see what they send back as a bid or an estimate. And I'll bring that back to the board once I receive it. Next, July 24th is No-Haz. It's at Kensington Church in Orion Township. And I believe that's all I
They
have.
want you to register online ahead of time,
Register online
I
ahead of
think the
time.
copay is $10.
and it's
What
$10.
was that?
What was the date again?
July 24th. It's usually a Saturday.
Mhm. And it's over by about 2, isn't it? It's
Yeah,
8 to 2, I think.
H.
There's gonna be another one in September too.
There will be one in September. I believe the September one is the last one. So, other than that, no, I have nothing else.
Teresa, did you have anything?
Sure. So as far as the treasurer's office goes, tax bills were sent out. So Angela and I did our best to make sure that we got them out on time. And if somebody thinks that they were supposed to get a tax bill and did not get it, it might have gone to their mortgage company. Please contact the treasurer's office. There are a variety of ways that you can also find out your tax amount. You can go to bsaonline.com. If you're a resident, you can set up your own little account and you can look at your own parcels for free. Other entities like title companies and mortgage companies, they pay per viewing to view anybody's tax information, but it is public information. And we are noticing that they are using it. We have gotten far fewer phone calls and many payments have already come in, and they're including a printout that is exactly the printout you get from BSA Online. So I'm very pleased with that because, you know, that's something we update it once a week with whatever payments we take in. And so it is current. The last 5 years worth of tax information is loaded onto it. So if you want to look at your stuff, you can see a detailed screenshot of, you know, exactly how much millage each thing is and how much it is for your parcel and where it's all going. You can pay in person here. We're open, so you can come in and pay, or you can drop it in the drop box. You can pay by mail. You can pay online through Oakland County Pay Local Taxes. You can do that with a credit card, or you can call us and we can take your credit card over the phone. So those are all ways you can pay. We try to make it really easy, especially for people who don't want to come in. They can just credit card over the phone. The July Board of Review is coming. That is a week from tomorrow on July 20th. At that time, they'll hear hardship applications for poverty exemptions. The assessor is the one who makes the appointments. So if you are somebody who wants to have your principal residence exemption adjusted, you just need to make sure that you get your paperwork in, and so I can get it to the assessor, and the assessor's phone number. You know, if you need that, just call the office. We'll help you there. So if anything else, you can call or email and we'll be happy to help you.
Okay,
And that's it.
thank you. Okay, we'll move to the last item, which is public comment. Does anybody have anything they want to say? Yeah, can you identify yourself, please?
Yeah, hi, my name is Adam Kuhn. I'm actually a resident of Groveland Township.
You could speak.
Appreciate to come in and listen and be here. I wanted to introduce myself. I'm the director of cultivation at the 5th largest cannabis wholesaler in the state of Michigan.
Mhm.
I represent a group who would like to bring the regulated cannabis industry to Groveland Township, based on discussions I've had with residents about complaints about unregulated, barn grows, warehouse grows, things like that, electrical not done by code, things like that. So why I'm here is basically to gauge your interest in potentially putting a presentation together for next month, and kind of putting forth, why the regulated cannabis industry would be a positive thing for the community and what it would mean for employment and taxation benefits and things like that.
We're kind of a step ahead of that already. I went to the Orion facility that's there, the cannabis grower in the Premier Park, I think it is.
Yeah.
And it was an eye opener for me. It was extremely professional and first class. So I arranged for the entire board to go see it too. I think I'm safe in saying everybody was pretty impressed by how professional it was. And to that end, we're in the midst of trying to get several ordinance languages together to have as an agenda item in the future, near future, to talk about opening up possibly the large C-scale growing applications. Okay. And the other part, and the reason we haven't done that already, because I already got Orion's ordinance, is all of us out here, independents, Brandon, us, everybody has been receiving an inordinate number of calls about people that say, I want to know if I can grow marijuana. And what we tell them is you can do anything the state of Michigan tells you. So if you're growing it for yourself, yes. If you're growing it for 5 licensed caregivers, yes. But if you want a commercial license, we currently have none available. Like you, I would anticipate that a number of them that are out here are illegal grows, and they're not for caregivers and they're not for their self-use. So what I'm getting right now is some additional ordinance languages from a couple of communities that think they have a methodology that's helpful in trying to curtail that part of it. So as soon as I have the samples together, the township attorney and I and the ordinance officer are going to meet to see if we can structure an ordinance that would, one, allow the legitimate commercial grower and help curtail the, if you want to call them bootlegger or illegal part of the marketplace. And so from your perspective, what I'd suggest is just kind of stay tuned to our agendas for the next couple of months, because it's probably going to take, after we have the meeting, a month or two to get it pieced together. And what we'll do then is, and we've told people for some time here that at previous meetings, I was looking at this to elicit some comments along the way. And we will have a public meeting and discuss it at that time and see what the board wants to do. So I think we're kind of ahead of what you wanted to do for us via some trips that we made. Okay, so thank you for coming and your comments. And if you have something else you want to send us, I'll tell you what I tell everybody. Send me an email. My card's on the counter out there, okay? And let me know if you want to know when that ordinance is coming up, and I will try and remember to tell anybody that's asked for that when we get to that, but we're not quite there yet.
Sure. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay, any other questions or comments? Okay, if not, a motion to adjourn and reconvene for the fire board.
A motion, we reconvene and reconvene for the fire board.
Adjourn and adjourn.
Yes, adjourn.
Okay, is there a second?
Motion, we adjourn.
By Gina. Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, Kevin, we'll reconvene. The meeting is yours, okay?
Thank you all. We had a total of 98 alarms for the month of June. Last 2 years, we had 81 calls. That brings us up to our total for 434 for the end of June. Currently, we're at 37 calls for this month. So we're on track for 1,000 calls, or a little bit more this year. Renaissance Festival is going, so that should pick up our numbers also.
Yeah, because last year they didn't have anything.
No,
And you normally do a number of runs there.
we're in negotiations with the broker for the aerial. We offered 43,000, and depending on the on-site inspection, we're waiting for their association to approve the offer before we conduct the on-site.
Just so everybody's aware, we think that's because they originally, I think we sent this to you when Kevin sent me the email. Originally, they said the ladder and the pump both certified. Then they called you back and said the pump certified, but the ladder had a leak in a
We
hydraulic.
had a drift on the extension and retraction of the boom. So,
And the estimate for that was about $7,000. So it's
6 to 8.
6 to 8 grand. Okay.
and we'll see, he has to get approval for that. And if they do come back and say, yeah, they'll approve that, Captain Williams and myself will go out there and take a look.
Okay.
I'd like a motion to hire Kurt Nitschke. He's a paramedic firefighter. As a fill-in firefighter paramedic, he currently works for NACPA and the village. This will be our first NACPA employee. He's also a fire marshal, and I think he's done some extensive work on that. He wants to help us with develop or redoing our pre-plans, and that's one of the reasons why we sent Stacy and Captain Williams to that class.
So we have some redundancy and backup in case Jerry's not able.
Well, not only that, we can, he can show them just the best way to do stuff like that.
Mhm.
So I'd like a motion to hire him.
Okay. Anybody want to make the motion?
Kurt Nitschke.
I'll motion to hire Kurt Nitschke as recommended by Chief Mason. With his paperwork and all his paperwork and I-9 and
And the background.
all of that background check.
Okay. Is there a second to that?
Second. Sorry, Jim.
Jim, I think got it.
Give it to Jim.
Okay.
Thank you.
Any questions or comments from the board? If not, Janelle, take a roll call for me, please.
Zach,
Yes.
Bill,
Yes.
Christopher,
Yes.
Charlie,
Yes.
Mama,
Yes.
And then like a motion for Nathan Brown. He's a paramedic. He's not a firefighter, but we'd like to hire him. He's Gina's husband, Gina Skellett's husband, not Gina Livio. And he wants to work the Renaissance Festival. We're short medics to work out there, so he would just be used to run the Renaissance Festival.
And just, I know we've had this discussion, but just might be helpful to the rest of the board. Even though they're just gonna work for us on a Renaissance Festival, it just clears up a whole lot of issues if they're actually on our payroll system.
Rather than, it's the same discussion I had with Springfield too about, people working in Springfield and Groveland Township. I said, it just makes everything a lot easier if I hire him. That way, if he gets hurt, workman's comp, not a big hassle, or if he has an accident with a vehicle, just a lot easier. I mean, for $7 a year, I said, that's well worth his hire on our roles.
I agree. Okay, can we have a motion from somebody for Nathan Brown?
I will move that we hire Nathan Brown as a paramedic to work the shifts at the Renaissance Festival.
Is there a second?
I'll support.
Patty, okay. Any other questions or comments from the board? If not, Janelle, would you take a roll call, please?
Bills,
Yes.
Christopher,
Yes.
Mondrelli,
Yes.
DePalma,
Yes.
Jack.
Okay.
Yes.
I don't know if I told you about this, Bob. We had a water leak in the training room 2 Sundays ago. Everyone thought it was the rain, but it wasn't raining at that time. So they went up in the attic. We had a small, like 10-gallon water heater up there that hasn't worked in years. We
In
haven't-
the training center at one?
So we haven't used it in years because it was broken. Well, it finally rusted out. So in that closet where you had, guess what? All the electronic stuff.
Oh, back by the TV, by the projection screen in the corner there?
No, it's the one between the 2 bathrooms. But- So they shut that down and they dried it all out. It's been isolated, so there's no leaks in water to the bathrooms now, but we didn't put a new water heater.
Because you didn't use it anyway.
And we still have to repair the drywall and the ceiling in the closet, but other than that, it was relatively minor damage. Of course, all the carpet got soaking wet. Smells musty after a while.
I have a question on that. That could be turned into insurance.
But what
Are
we
you-
we went through everything and everything seemed to be fine, so it was.
Okay, I'm
And I'm
just.
still waiting for last year's electrical,
The electric hit?
Oh.
the
Lightning hit?
strike.
The first one or the second one?
Yes.
Oh,
Both of them, huh?
wow.
We didn't even tell them there was a second one. They just.
Oh, no.
A couple things that they know are public record. But.
I was out of
all-
the office,
It was
so.
all fine, actually.
Okay.
And then, as far as the hose testing, we got all the smaller diameter hose. The only thing we have left is the 6-inch hose. And frankly, no one wants to.
Yeah, and that's a good, that's a good thing, just so they know you're doing the hose testing, because it saves us money. And the company that did it was kind of crappy.
Yeah, and then last year they sent me an email there just a couple weeks ago saying, were you one of the 30 companies we missed last year? And I said, yeah, we did it ourselves.
It's like I keep on getting these emails. Did you ship that car yet?
And on Monday, we have ladder testing. He would normally do the ladder truck. Since it's broken, I'm not gonna have him do that, but he does non-destructive testing on all the ladders, so. Other than the 6-inch hose, we'll have all the tests done for the year. Oh, I'm sorry, we'll still have to do the pump test, but that usually comes out around August.
Okay.
That's all I have.
Okay,
All right.
sounds like things are going pretty good.
I think so.
Okay,
Um,
thank you, chief.
I have a quick question. There's a,
What's the
Oh.
first lamp? There's a
This,
floor lamp.
this is, so you know, the latest and greatest floor plan for the new building. This is what we sent up to Dawn at the MSP Facilities Group that came down here. And Chief got a message back today that said she had 3 little questions. He answered that, and as soon as she acknowledges back to him that, yeah, I understand, that's okay. It was, why isn't the extra parking lot striped? It's because it's gravel. What was that? Oh, we can't put a lock on the bathroom door for the jail cells.
And
And
they wanted a room for the IT equipment, which is
just one little rack.
just a small rack right now. So we just said, we need to put it in the armory or just the.
So as soon as she confirms that, Maniaci will finish up the full sets of plans. I'll make sure everybody gets a chance to see them. We'll post one at the fire station and one upstairs at the MSP. I promised the LT for the detachment that I take it up there. But he's pretty excited and happy for it. And then once we get that, we'll get the 3 bids out. And we got to put a sign up as soon as you let me know if the square footage is right on that document I gave you.
So this looks like you will have access, like you wouldn't be locked out like you had been in Station 1 with MSP now.
Oh, no, actually, they want locked doors between
do,
all of them. The
okay.
only part that's gonna be open is the joint, those two big rooms in the middle there.
No, like,
Okay.
I'm talking about card swipes.
Hard swipe.
okay, okay.
But we're sharing the
The bathroom.
training room and the kitchen. So
Just a little funny story here. When we went through the plumbing at the facility there, the one that they use when they arrest somebody was really nasty. And we said, I think it was Verdess with us. I said, does that flush? And they're, I don't know. Should we try it? I don't know. I said, "Look, I'll flush it, but if it doesn't work, turn the wire off right away. You don't want to hit the lever and it's not connected to anything. They took the chain off from the flapper to the lever. And I said, well, why would you do that? Well, we figured it out because when they arrest people, one of the things they do normally is they have an officer stay with them if they go to the bathroom.
Right.
If they don't, sometimes they have drugs or something on them, they'll flush them down the toilet. So they made the toilet so it wouldn't flush. And I don't think they know who did it, but I said, that's why your toilet's not working. So, Chief and John, I guess, probably changed that one, right? You changed it? Well, thank you. Anyway, the fire department did a great job. They made the place habitable, and it's light years better than it
we're
was.
still doing some drywall. There's 2 holes in the ceiling for when the roof.
Yeah, a couple of bullet holes.
Couple bullet holes and stuff like that.
And I would go back there, they go, the wires are hanging down. I go, well, who took the light fixture off? So we got it all squared away anyway. Things went very well the other day with the LTs that were up there with us. So and I've got a couple of contact numbers for them. So I think we're in good shape. That's it. Nothing else? Any comment, public comment? Yeah, Dave?
Want to know how many fire chiefs take to screw in a light bulb?
I came up with a line after one of the residents came in and said, why didn't the chief change the light bulb? Afterwards, I came up, if everyone else came in, I was gonna say, I'm doing my community service here. I did all those, I did all the ones here,
Yeah.
and Jeff Burdess did most of the ones.
Verdess did a nice job for us. I can help him clean the place up too. It's just light years better than it was. But in fairness, neither he nor I were ever going around there. One of the things that's going to happen is once a month, I'm going to meet one of the LTs up there. We're going to walk through the place and all agree everything's fixed, right? So there isn't any problem with it. And they are picking up the garbage instead of just missing the wastebasket and leaving it on the floor. So I think we're in good shape. That's it. Nothing else? Motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Thank you, everybody.
Nice seeing everybody in person.
Yes.
Yeah.